Faerie.
A dog's sense. I had a dog once that was super loyal and loving and would always come running to me when I called and would almost crash into me whenever I had treats for him. One day, he was sitting in the living room and all of his hairs stood up on his back, and he was just staring over my shoulder, growling and showing his teeth. No matter what I did to try to get him to come to me, he wouldn't break his stare at that one spot and just kept growling. I eventually carried him out of the room because it was freaking me and my roommates out so bad. Animals can sense something we can't. Growing up, there was an extra room upstairs in our house that we used as an office. It had a closet with one of those tiny attic access doors on the side. We'd sometimes all be downstairs watching TV, and we'd hear a creaking sound moving toward that room. The room was next to mine, and sometimes I'd find the closet door open, with the light on and the little door to the attic cracked open. There was a spot on the wall that our declawed cat would always attack. There was missing paint from the cat attacks as well. All of that was creepy, but the night the dog, who never came upstairs without my dad, started barking in the hallway by my room toward the office was the worst. She barked and growled for a bit, then she started backing off into my room, while looking up as if staring at the face of a person coming toward her. She backed into my room, then squealed like she'd been stepped on and ran into the far corner from my door, and she put her nose and eyes into the corner and whimpered. I picked her up and went downstairs to sleep on the couch. That was 14 years ago, and I'm still freaked out by it. I know for a fact that my house was haunted for an entire year right after my great-grandmother passed away. Now, I'm not saying the spirit was hers. I haven't appeared on Long Island Medium yet, so I cannot confirm nor deny that statement. But I do know that my house was haunted nonetheless, and the only two witnesses were my cat and myself. Why? Because there are for sure two types of beings that can see spirits: children and animals. I, at the time, just so happened to be a little girl with a cat. No one will believe me to this day, but we both witnessed a flying object. A book report binder, which was on my kitchen counter, flew into the living room and landed at my feet. Smarty, my cat, was on the couch next to me, but not for long, because I took off out of the door and waited in the hallway of my apartment building for my grandmother to get home from work. I was terrified to be in my house all the time, and for a latchkey kid, that is just not ideal. My cat would stare into the high corners of my ceilings and never quite be looking at me, but always a few paces behind me. His neck would snap suddenly to the doorway of a room when no one was there. It was definitely an eventful year.